Hello everyone, it's a pleasure to meet you all again, and this time it's a very interesting episode because we have Ms. Belinda from Cameroon, which is another African country, and I think we have been having quite a lot of guests from Africa, and they're absolutely amazing. And I hope you're also equally amazing. I know that. And let me just, for those who do not know, we'll just introduce. So Ms. Belinda Meyer is from Cameroon, and she's a humanitarian. And I think we all need to be humanitarians, of course. And she's a community volunteer and a facilitator for people with disabilities and vulnerable children. And she's got a lot of recognition, and she's got a lot of interesting insights which she would like to share this time. And Belinda, you can just give us a brief introduction about what you do and what you have been doing so far, and we'll start off with the episode that way.
Okay, so thank you very much. Like you said, I'm Belinda Maya from Cameroon, and I'm a person with disability. I'm an activist in the community. I work with persons with disability. I work with children with vulnerability, abandoned children, and the elderly in the community. So far, it has been very interesting, though challenging. Coming from a person who is disabled too, it's really challenging. But I think creating an impact in the life of some of people who do not believe initially in themselves, people the community marginalize or stigmatize, seeing how you can encourage and actually make them to believe in themselves and seeing that they can do something for themselves and see how they can serve others. It has really been interesting. So for today, I'll be talking on as an activist in the community on how I want to motivate skills and education in the lives of young people living with disability in the community. Because for us here in Africa, if a child is born with a disability, for us it's a taboo, it's abnormal. Sometimes the community see it as a curse, and most of the time these children they are kept from the society. They don't see the potential. They see these children as if they are useless. They cannot offer anything to the world. They cannot offer anything to the community. Whereas if you go closer to these children, they are beautiful singers, they are beautiful painters, they can love, they can share, they can communicate. And because no one is giving them that opportunity to show what they got, to show the world what they can do, they are always they keep them in the background. And seeing that there's something they can actually do, I'm coming out as a person, I'm coming out as a voice for them to see that the skills, the potential in these children are brought out.
Thank you so much for that wonderful opening, Miss Belinda. We are truly inspired from what you're doing. And I think the moment you said that when a child is born and he or she is disabled, that's when it's considered a taboo. And that's common for, I think, most of the countries. That happens in India as well. When we see people with disabilities as different from us, we keep them away from us. We do not let them mix up, and we don't think they're capable of doing all the things that we normal people are doing. But I feel people who are disabled in one way or the other, God puts something extra in them as compared to others. So He fulfills this gap somehow by giving these people something extra. And I personally respect you a lot. Thank you for coming up and speaking on our platform, ma'am. Now that you've said us that you have been working in the community for children who are vulnerable and who are disabled, those who are usually abandoned by their families, what is your observation? In the sense, when you look at these children, when you work with these children, when you work with people in general with disabilities, uh, what do you observe? Do they have the passion to do something? Are they really wanting to get out of this situation that they are put in? Certainly. and how are you communicating with them? So how did you come up with this idea, and eventually how did it work for you, is what we want to know before putting up the next question.
Okay, so let me start with myself personally. As a child with disability, growing up, there are so many things I wanted to do. I wanted to be a singer. I wanted to be a journalist. I was loved by the community, despite the fact that I was a disabled child. And I was like, if I can have this potential, though having the disability, it means that there are so many children, so many women, so many persons out there that they also have this disability, but they have abilities. And so it made me to, it gave me that grief, that passion of wanting to reach. I started to reach out to them. And when I started reaching out to them, I realized that they wanted to do something for themselves. I'll ask a child with disability, do you want to go to school? Say, yes, I want to go to school like my friend. I want to play with my friends. I want to do this with my friends. I want to do this, but because I'm restricted, I cannot. If you see single parents with disability, single mothers, he said, why are you, they would say, if I was given that opportunity, I would do something for myself. And it's because from what I've observed, the opportunity is not given. And I think that is why recently so many voices are coming out for persons with disability. You see them struggling, they are going to school, but when they come out, they are not given the job opportunity. Why? Because of the disability. They really want to do something. They really want to fend for themselves. But because the community is not accepting them, because they are not given the opportunity to showcase what they got, they are restricted. And at that point, they are being judged that they don't want to do anything because they are disabled, whereas they have not been given that opportunity. They have not been given the opportunity to communicate with the society, to express their views, to express their joys and their challenges. And because they are not given, and they said, okay, since we are not giving, then we remain at this position, then they are being blamed for not wanting to reach out to the society.
Okay. I think you have a very clear idea of what challenges are, and these people who really want to do something are your motivation behind starting up this idea. So, Miss Belinda, how do you want to transform the society? What is your vision, and what exactly do you want to do for these people? The most important part being, what do you think is the role of youth across globe, not just in Africa, not just in Cameroon, not just in India, but across globe? How do you think? So, I want to know your idea of that, your idea of the perfect society, and what is the role of youth for that?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So I think for young persons with disability, being in Africa, in Nigeria, India, across the globe, I think inclusion and acceptance in the society is very important. And I think inclusion means involving everybody. A child is a child, a person is a person, whether disabled or not. All of us, we are special in one way or another. All of us, we can contribute in the society in one way or another. So I think if we are included in everything, being it in academically, if these children, they are accepted in school, because I think that is one of the biggest challenges that we have right now in my community, um, not being accepted because of a disability. I think if they are given the opportunity of being accepted in schools, if they are being accepted, if they are being included when it comes to training, when it comes to job opportunity, when it comes to political opportunity, if they can have the voices in the community, in the country, they have a place, they have a part, then I think their voices would have been heard. Because, like I said, all of us, we have a contribution to make, whether disabled or not. So if we are included in the society, if we are given a space, if we are given a part to play our own role in the society, then I think our potential, our commitments, our contributions will be felt.
Amazing.
Right. So, Belinda, you have given quite a good picture about what your role is, what you have been doing, and what your ideal society would look like, and how you need to give a platform to disabled people. And I'd like to add a point and then I'll ask a question. And the point is, in when it comes to people with disabilities, when it comes to perceptions, people are not really comfortable trying to understand the the problem that disabled people face, and therefore it boils down to perception. And to change the perception, there's a lot that there's a lot that podcasts like this and social media platforms can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was talking about the role of social media and platforms like this to talk about, to stress the importance of how we need to be compassionate towards disabled people, and there's a need to do that in a big way in the world throughout. So my simple question to you would be, what do you think if when you're doing about your initiative, what is the plan of action that you took or you have, and how are you going about it in your country in Cameroon?
So presently, like I said, I've been doing some other things to encourage and to see how persons with disability, they can have a livelihood. For example, I think like some 3 weeks ago, I organized a training workshop for women with disability for them to acquire skills so that they can use these skills for livelihood. And right now, I also have this project for skills empowerment and education for young persons with disability. So what I do is um, I share the project, I share the plan of action with other persons, with other people in different countries. It could be in different platforms on the social media. We share the idea, and then we see how we can coordinate the activity for it to be a success.
That sounds really good. I mean, you are trying to mobilize the youth, you're trying to mobilize people with disabilities so that they can learn something and do something. That's a pretty good idea, I feel. And this is the first step to inclusivity. So, I mean, I would just like to add a point here, guys. There are times when we get ourselves hurt, when we break our arm or we break our leg. Something happens. Suppose there's some infection in your eye and you can't see from one eye for some time, or even if everything is fine, just try living without one of your body parts for one day, and I promise you it's going to be very, very challenging, because that's the point where you feel so frustrated, where you feel like you're done with your life. Just imagine children who are born with that kind of a disability, you know who can't walk, who don't have a hand, who don't have a finger, who don't have eyesight, anything, literally anything. You can just feel the pain that they go through in their entire life, you know and our responsibility as people who are blessed with everything right is to make those people feel included, make those people feel good. We should not be adding more to their pain because they are already having their own struggle to go through, right? So, in that situation, if we boycott them, or if we try to show that they're different from us, that I think is the worst thing to do. The best way to make an inclusive society is to be empathetic towards them. I swear people with disabilities do not need our sympathy. It's not needed. They need empathy. They need us to understand. that they are capable of doing a lot of things. I personally have seen so many people. Even on our podcast, we have met Mr. Jagvinder Singh ji, the cyclist who is a Paralympic cyclist, and he does not have arms, and he is known in India for his work. He has been mobilizing youth, and he has been working for youth and people with disabilities. And I think that is the best example, because, as I told you before, I don't even think we should call it a disability. It's just an extra ability that they have, right? So we should be proud of them, because Jagwinder Singh ji, he writes with his feet, and that's not something you or me can do. So it's really something to be proud of. It's something to appreciate them for. And more than your sympathy, what they need is empathy. And I feel that's how we can empower youth, we can empower people and children with disabilities and vulnerabilities. That's how we are supposed to do it. And of course, the role of social media and our platforms is quite big, because we need to highlight these stories. We need to bring these people out and highlight what they are doing for society. We need to bring out and highlight their contributions to the world. And that's how I think we can all embrace wonderful people that we have, wonderful people like Belinda that we have with us. Pawan, do you have any other question?
Yes,
I think we
Belinda.
should definitely, yeah, you carry on.
Yeah, Belinda, I just like to ask you regarding your experience in Cameroon, and what are the challenges that you faced when it came to thinking about this and going about this? You can keep it in a short pointer. So, what are the challenges that you face apart from the societal problems and all? So, when you're starting it off, what are the challenges that you face? Would like to hear that.
And how people can help you with that. I mean, if there's any way that the community can help you fight those challenges, you are free to propose, and we will be happy to help you.
Okay. So, like you said, it's difficult. Maybe you lost one of your body parts, maybe your leg, your hands, and all that. So in our community, we have a big challenge of mobility issues. It's not everybody. Maybe I want to go out, but I don't have a crutch, I don't have a wheelchair, I don't have the white cane. I cannot go out. I'm not free. I cannot freely move like everybody because I'm limited because of that mobility items. So there are so many of us here in the community that we don't have these mobility items. We also have, we've learned that because we are limited with our disability, most of the time poverty is linked. Oh, my phone don't go on. So my word to young persons in Cameroon, in America, in India, in Nigeria will be to believe in yourself. The fact that you are a young person with disability does not mean um you can't offer anything to the society. You have great potential. You can be a motivation to others. You can be an inspiration to others. And so keep showing what you got to the world, knowing that no matter what you do in your own little way will be accepted, will be appreciated. And so many persons can come to learn from what you are able to share or to give to them. So do not give into self-pity. Do not say you are over. Do not say you cannot do it. Because I believe in every person with disability, being it a young person, an elderly person, a woman, a man. I believe all of us, because we are all humans, because we were created in the image of God, we can offer something good to the society. So I tell you, young person, do not give in to self-pity. Go out there, be a motivator, be an inspiration in the life of other young persons, and be somebody they can learn from. Show them that, like them, they can learn, they can appreciate, and they can say, truly, your disability is inability. We also have lack of job opportunities and training. Yeah, we realize that here in Africa, in Cameroon, in our community, persons with disability are not given the opportunities to have a regular job or to participate in regular training where they can acquire skills or they can be trained as entrepreneurs to either run a business that will sustain them. So we think if we can be assisted in having workshop and seminars where we can acquire skills and undergo trainings, it will really help us to have skills or to be trained in various activities that can help us for livelihood. We also have a problem of housing. We have a problem of basic material needs. Most of the time, disability is always linked to poverty. And coupled with the COVID-19 area, it has not really been easy for us here in Cameroon. And we think as a people, if other organizations can come into like assist us in a little way, it can be financial, it can be material, to see how we can undergo some trainings and workshop. I think it will really go a long way to assist us. And that is why from time to time I used to carry out campaigns, especially for basic household items, to see how these persons with disability can be supported. So I think if people of goodwill, like you said, for us to be included means, like you said, it has to do with empathy, thinking that if I was the person in this position, if I didn't have this one of this my body parts, how would it look like? Would it be difficult for me? And you see somebody going through that, can you reach out? Can you assist? So I think reaching out or assisting us with these our challenges, it really go a long way to assist people here in Cameroon and in Southwest Meme all together. So show them that you can be loved, you can be cherished, you can be accepted. And if you give them a reason for them to see you in that way, then definitely they'll really come to accept that disability is not inability. Thank you very much.
So, Belinda, thank you for giving us such a good insight about what is happening in Cameroon and what we are facing in Cameroon. I think it's a good understanding that we have got and insight that we have got from you regarding the problems that you face regarding this particular issue in Cameroon. And I would like to just mention something that we've seen in India, and that is essentially how there was earlier on we have been having a lot of movements supporting the disabled people and enabling them to get ramps at railway stations and at other facilities at the airports. But thanks to the call given by the Prime Minister of India in 2014-15, sometime around that time, to start calling them as Divyang. The general term in Hindi for that particular, sorry, if there's any disabled person, you would call them Viklang. It means they would not have one body part, something. So there's a deformity. So you would call them Viklang. But now they started calling them Divyang. So you even have Divyang coaches. There are a lot of facilities provided and aimed at giving the Divyang their facilities, I would say, be it ramps at railway stations and then wheelchairs at platforms and airports and bus stations. A lot of these facilities have come up. So in a way, things are changing, at least in India. But your insight from Cameroon is going to be something that everybody in India will become aware about of, and then they'll be able to try to reach out to you in some way or the other. At least this is a starting to know what is happening in Cameroon. So you need to spread, and I think this is an excellent opportunity that you've got to talk about what is happening in Cameroon in general in this particular issue. So that was the whole thing about what I wanted to add. Lovely, over to you.
Guys, I think this is pretty much an opportunity for all of us to, maybe we can replicate this idea. Maybe we can take inspiration from this idea and do something for people here. Because most of the times when we are recording podcast, we discuss issues to which the government has already found solutions or they have already proposed some policies, some laws. we do have policies, we do have certain laws which work in favor of disabled people. Okay, we do have laws that propose inclusiveness for everybody, regardless of their disability or their abilities. But I think more than laws and more than structured policies and stuff, what we need to do as people is to, in general, show that inclusivity in our society. So there are people living with you who have disabilities, who are born with disabilities, and then there are people who, uh, unfortunately, they lose some of their body part, or they lose something, some ability of theirs in an accident or something, eventually in their life. To all those people, I think there's a lot being happening for them. I would say media has its own role to play. It's their responsibility as media to educate people about these people. It's important to highlight their contributions in society. It's important to make them feel good. You need to include them in everything. And when Belinda raised this issue that they do not get equal opportunities for education or jobs, this is something where we really need to consider again, and we need to provide them with equal opportunities. That's very important, because a lot has been happening. I'm very proud to say that there is still, I can clearly see a lot of development in this field, at least. Recently there were acid attacks happening in India, and so many other things that were happening in India. But we have now normalized all of this, and we have started including people with us. We need more of a holistic, more of an empathetic vision towards this situation. And youth who's really interested to work for community, it's common for us to look at issues related to environment, look at issues related to child education, look at issues related to, let's say, food and nutrition and all of these. I think this is another aspect that we have got. Social service will also be service that you provide to people with disabilities. If you can provide them with the basic mobility devices, like Belinda highlighted, that would be a social service. If you could just start movements and start campaigns to spread awareness about these groups and to spread awareness about inclusivity, that would be another option for you. And you could do that. These are new avenues in which we can think, we can work, and we can collaborate with these people and support them in many ways. Support them, get them into highlight, help them with their livelihoods, help them with their careers and everything. So yeah, I think this is an opportunity for all us Indians to think about this particular matter as something which we can make our aim in life, and we can assist people across globe who are facing these problems, starting from your home, because charity begins at home, guys. And you have the first step towards providing people with something would be to provide them empathy, to provide them lots of love. With this, I think Ms. Belinda has already given us a lot of insights. Her entire conversation was full of lessons, was full of messages for all of us. And I hope we can relate to her, because she is representing the entire disabled people's community. She is very powerful, she's very beautiful, and just like her, everybody else is equally able and empowered. We just need to provide them with platforms like these to come up and share their views, to come up and discuss what they feel, and to show their creativity to people. Kudos to you, Miss Belinda. You're doing a great work. Thank you for accepting our invitation and coming here despite all the time zone differences, despite a lot of net issues, despite you being, having issues of mobility. We are really, really grateful. We are honored to have you. We thank you a lot from the bottom of our heart, and we hope lots of success for you. If our platform can provide you with any sort of help, please reach out to us. And our listeners, if you can provide any sort of help for Ms. Belinda and her campaign, then it's all in your hands. You can support her, you can get in touch with her on Instagram, you can see what she's doing, you can stay updated. And if not anything, we can at least support her in this new venture, in this wonderful initiative that she has taken. Stay tuned with us. We are coming up with some amazing guests forward. We are preparing, we are recording with them. And just subscribe to our channel so that you get notifications time and again. Click that bell icon so that you're notified every time we post a video. Like our video, share it with people who need to see it. Be a part of our community, and feel free to share your opinions and thoughts on our Instagram, on email, on Facebook, or in YouTube comments. Lots of love for you guys, lots of positivity. This session itself is an inspiration for all of us to do something. We are blessed. We should be grateful. We should be grateful that we are provided with everything every day. When there is something negative that strikes you, if there is anything that bothers you, if there is something you just cannot get off, if some days you feel irritated, you feel not having enough, that's where you need to remind yourself that you are lucky. At least you have your complete body with you. You have all the senses, you have all your body parts, and that's one of the biggest blessings, guys. Because those who don't have it, they know the value. They know the value. I trust me, I swear. And so this is one of the things which we should forever be grateful for. This is something we can always, that can turn our mood immediately. If we are off, it can immediately make us feel very empowered that thank you, God, for giving us a complete body. We are so powerful, and we will do something. We will make everybody feel included, and will make a better society. With this, it's a goodbye from me and Pawan for you guys. Thank you so much for staying with us. Thank you, Miss Belinda, and we'll see you super soon in the next episode. Stay tuned, guys. Bye bye.